Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to be taking a look at Star Wars Unlimited. This is the two-player starter set, so everything in this box you can sit down and play. This is meant to be a head-to-head game, but I have been told there's rules to play with, 3 or more players. So, yeah, we're going to check it out here. I've got some of Gamegenic's Art Sleeves. I'm going to take a look at those, especially compared to the recent Lorcana sleeves, which were Ravensburger brand, I believe. Wasn't too keen on the way those felt. Loved the artwork, but so we've got basically one for each style deck here. And then I stopped by my friendly local game store and picked up a couple packs just to see what it looks like when you open up a pack, because this should be exactly the same for everybody. So if you pick up this box, it should have exactly the same cards in it as what you're going to see here. All right. So we have little deck boxes. That's a nice touch. And we've got 2 decks that do not want to come out of here. There's one. And there's another. Okay. So first things first. Let's just give you guys an idea of how this game plays. So each game comes with, on one side it's a poster matching the artwork, but on the other side it's going to be your playmat. So kind of like how Pokemon, every starter deck of Pokemon cards comes with a playmat, and you just line up 2 playmats side by side. So this is where your resources are going to be. Similar to Lorcana, you're going to be placing cards face down here that you lose access to, but those are then your resources that you exhaust each turn to play cards. Then you have a place for your deck and your discard pile, and then you have this space up here, which is very important because there's 2 theaters of war, essentially. You have your ground units, your space units, and then here you're going to have your base along with your leaders. So we have Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader as our leaders, and our base is going to be the ultimate goal. Destroying the other player's base is how you get there. There's also a little spot for initiative. Here you can pass and take initiative, so you can play first next turn. But the biggest thing is that you can place units into ground and space, and only space can fight space, and only ground can fight ground, so on and so forth. So now that we have gotten that out of the way, let's just take a look at these little extras here. We've got some deck boxes, which is nice. I haven't decided how I am going to store this game. I don't know how big of a collection I'm going to have, so I was perfectly happy with the fact that this starter deck came with these, even though they're just cardstock basically. But there we go. 2 deck boxes for our starters. And then we have some tokens here. Here is the rule book. And tokens, which are essentially just damage counters. Here is your initiative token. I cannot remember what these 2 X's mean. Now, Gamegenic, of course, has come out with some acrylic tokens, which not only cover the damage tokens we have here, but also like status effects and things like that. So that's pretty much everything out of the way. Let's take a look here. This looks like it's going to be the Luke Skywalker deck. So this is your leader card, and one way you can tell that it's a leader card, it says leader up here, but it's also double-sided. So it will sit like this until you meet this epic action point here. So for him, it says if you control 6 or more resources, deploy this leader, flip him, ready him, and move him to the ground arena. And so prior to that, you're really only using him for his action here. Looks like he can give shield tokens to units in play. When you flip him over, though, he's able to do damage as well as take damage. On attack, you're still gaining shield tokens. He has a cost. I'm not really sure what I guess this is because you have gained 6 resources, but it doesn't say you have to exhaust those resources. You just have to have controlled them. So there you go. He can then attack. He can be knocked out. If he's knocked out, he goes back here. And I think he's just this way for the rest of the game. I'm not 100% sure. Here we have our base. Yeah, so pretty simple base, straightforward. I don't know if the bases are going to have like special effects or passive effects like the bases in the deck building game are, but here 30 points to the administrator looks like Cloud City, and you've knocked him out. On the back we have our card list here in case you want to ever put this back together. All right, then we have a couple tokens. So let me just make sure, yep. Tokens are other cards that are double-sided. So here you have your shield tokens. So when it says give a shield token to another character, you would give them this. It doesn't give you any additional stats of health or attack power, but it gives you a shield, which means it would soak up all the damage of any hit done on it first. Or you can give them learned experience where they are increasing their health and increasing their damage. Again, you just kind of tuck these cards underneath to show that they have received that token. So these are tokens. They technically are cards, but when the game refers to a token, they're talking about these cards, these double-sided cards right here. And then from here on out, we just basically have our selection of kind of standard TCG cards that have various, let's zoom in a little bit here. There we go. For example, here you have a unit. It's a ground unit. Gives you the amount of resources it costs. It has essentially a tag on it. Whatever this symbol is, it attacks for 1. It's got 3 health. And on attack, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. So he's really just out there to heal. All of these cards are now going to have this on the back because they're the ones that are shuffled up. R2-D2 here is an example of another unit. It's ground. You'll notice that R2-D2 has the little star next to his name. That means he's a unique character, and you can only have one of him out on the battlefield at a time. You can have more than one of him in your deck, but only one can be present in play at one time. So I'm just going to kind of see here our starter deck has multiple copies of R2-D2. I don't know what the deck building rules are. 3 may be the maximum. It may be more than that. I'm not sure. But so here we have another unit. This is a space one. Very straightforward. We've got 3 of those. C-3PO. All the classic characters. This is all 100% new and unique artwork. This is not artwork taken from the deck building game or anything like that. So that's cool. Here's another ground unit. Here is a space unit. So it appears like all of our units are on top. So here we have Leia Organa. And again, you're seeing keywords also down here. So Rebel, Vehicle, Fighter, Rebel, Official. A lot of times cards will speak to those keywords, and that'll determine whether that card can take your effect. Also, while we're here, 2 important notes is that your deck, or your leader and your base determine the cards that you can have in your deck. So you'll notice that all of these cards have one of these 3 symbols here. So that I do know that about building the deck out. If you have a card, or if you want to have a card that's outside of your deck's influence, sphere of influence, I guess we'll call it, you have to pay additional resources to then deploy that card. So that's how they get away with allowing you to add a few extras into your deck. It is possible. They're just going to cost a little bit more. So we even have a couple of 3 Leia Organas. Rogue Operative. So Rogue Operative has the Saboteur ability. She can ignore shields, and she ignores the Sentinel effect, which is essentially taunt. Let's see what else. A couple Fleet Lieutenants here. Wing Leader. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Rebel unit. So here we're talking about tokens again. We got us a Yoda. I mean, all the classics are in here. Sentinel. So this is an example of a Sentinel who would have to soak up damage before your base could take damage. But someone like a Saboteur could bypass him if they wanted to. So here's a couple Sentinel vehicles. Oh, I love it. The Consular Security Force. Got a couple of them. Azatuk Liberator Gunship. This is a rogue ship. This is, I believe, No, is that the? This is either the bug guy or this is the Chewbacca style bounty hunter ship. I can't remember. So we got General Dodonna here, Chewbacca, Vigilant Honor Guards, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, Resilient. So now we're getting to upgrades. Upgrades you pay and then you slot them underneath. So these are not like tokens. You always have access to these tokens, and I'm pretty sure that once they're, the card above them is destroyed, you get them back. Whereas these cards are added to your character and either just boost stats, or like this one in particular has when played ability. So it boosts his stats, and if the attached unit is Luke Skywalker, heal all damage from him and give him a... That's awesome. But that's when played, not every round. So there's even a couple... 3 Luke's lightsabers. Repair. I love that they're repairing his hand. And then we have just events. So these you simply pay, you play, you do what it says, and we are done. So Asteroid Sanctuary, Trick, Tactic, Waylay, and that should be in Vanquish. So that looks like Darth Vader throwing the Emperor off. And there you go. So that is the Luke Skywalker deck. I'll go through the Darth Vader deck as well. I'm just not going to say as much since we've covered all the card types, or kind of what the basics of the game are. So here's Darth Vader. Again, you need to control 7 resources in order to deploy him. And when you flip him over, he is doing 5 and 8. You may deal 2 damage to a unit. And I believe that this is a separate unit, and I don't even know if this has to be in the same theater as you. I'll have to check on that. But I know that he is pretty powerful. That's why it takes a little bit more to get him out in the fight. And your command center is the Death Star, and on the back here we have our deck list, and it looks like we have the exact same tokens as before. So we got a couple TIE fighters, Death Star Stormtrooper, the classics, Admiral Ozzel here, First Legion Stormtrooper, Admiral Motti, Stormtrooper Lieutenant, Viper Probe Droid, Admiral Piet, Super Laser Technician, Cell Block Guard, General Veers in the AT-ATs, Grand Moff Tarkin. We have 3 Grand Moff Tarkins, Imperial Interceptor, TIE Advanced, AT-ST, Gladiator, Star Destroyer, Blizzard Assault AT-AT. Okay. Emperor Palpatine used to just be 1 AT-AT. The Relentless. Got a couple copies of Vader's lightsaber. Then we have Recruit, Force Choke. I love it. Resupply. Those are not bad guys. Now here, oh yeah, this was the symbol on the base. So I thought that was going to be one that you already had to pay for. I am your father, Gambit. Deal 7 damage to an enemy unit unless its controller says no. If they do, draw 3 cards. Oh, that's awesome, I guess. That's a little weird of a card. I don't know whether that one will ever be seen in like competition play or anything like that. So, all right. Let us take a look at the sleeves now. So I'm not going to, open up both of these because it's basically just the artwork from the front, but I just want to check out the card quality. I mean the sleeve quality here. So yeah, these are much better. I don't know what it was about the Ravensburger sleeves, but they almost were sticky. They weren't like dirty, but these are a nice matte finish. Really nice. more than likely I will probably go with, I think they have ones that just the back card, the sleeve looks like this. So that way I can interchange cards easily without having to pull them out of their sleeves all the time. But these are nice. So let's, I can't sleeve that one or that one. These are all double-sided, but here is one of Luke's cards. Tucked in there, it goes in nice, a little bit of excess at the edge, white border around the outside. I don't know if they're all going to be like that, but yeah, there you go. This is a really nice feel to it, nice artwork. So yeah, very much happier with these than I was the Ravensburger ones. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at some booster packs. So we got Chewbacca here first.